Okay. Scott Martin's with us, along with Susan and Ashley. Stocks in record territory right from the start. This is what, a holiday rally, a Santa Claus rally, a year-end rally? Go. Are you into this there, Scott?
Halloween rally, yeah, let's just throw out all the holidays because it's here. You know, I think a couple things are going on, Stuart. We've had the Fed, don't forget, my friends, reintegrate some, let's say, liquidity, bond buying into the system, which is helpful. They've got 3 rate cuts on the books now after that big mistake in December last year when we thought they were going to actually even hike more this year, so they've totally turned tail there. And the fact that these impeachment concerns, I believe, are kind of fading away. At least the Democrats maybe are losing some bite there. So with respect to all those things that are going on, the market wants to go up, and the fact that we have earnings coming in that were a little bit better than expected, that's the fuel for the fire today.
And trade, too, right? So, I mean, the Commerce Ministry in China rarely is optimistic on U.S.-China trade talks. And the fact that they say, hey, we might be repealing some of those tariffs from September, the December 15th ones might not be imposed. I think you have to take a lot of positives from that, and they will be signing that phase 1 trade deal. Depends where and depends when. It will happen before the end of this year. I think that's one hurdle that has been cleared for markets wanting to go up.
I call that a positive right there.
Absolutely.
And the speculation that she and President Trump will get together in London for the NATO summit, that's pure speculation, but it's out there.
It's Iowa, it's London. You know, it was Chile. It could happen in November, December.
My bet's on London.
Oh.
But that's just speculation.
You can fly over.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Look at Uber. Drivers filing a class action lawsuit saying that they were underpaid for years. Now, this is New York City drivers, I think, isn't it?
Yes, class action. 96,000 New York City drivers who claim that they were underpaid over the course of those 3 years because what was taken out of their paychecks was the so-called black car driver fund, or this black car fund surcharge, which, by the way, was around 8.8% or something like that.
They're suing.
They're suing, but also Uber has already compensated them for that. They paid out tens of millions of dollars when they ended that black car fund, but some drivers say that they weren't fairly compensated, and so they're suing once again. However, I would say this would be a tough one to win.
New York City, you know.
Yes.
How far can you run it into the ground? I just love
We're
to
finding
know.
out.
I'm not going to answer that question.
Yeah.
All right, Dow Industrial is down up 160 points as we speak. Now, look at the stock price of Roku. The stock is down big. They're spending an awful lot of money. Apparently, investors don't like that. Look at it. It's down, what, $24 as of right now.
Had quite a run-up.
All right, Scott, obvious question. At $116 a share, Roku, would you buy it?
No, I think it's going to go back to 100, though. 100 is pretty attractive, Stuart. Actually, this stock has been pretty predictable. It's about 100 on the downside, 150 on the up, so that's why we're seeing the pullback, as you mentioned, on earnings. You know, it's so weird, and guidance, too, wasn't good. All that streaming stuff that's coming down the pike, you know, Apple TV Plus, Disney, Hulu, all the things that are out there already, Amazon Prime and all that stuff, you know, and then you have Roku, which is kind of the software behind that stuff. Everybody's kind of left figuring out what they're going to do. And for me, in my house, I'm left with like a really smart TV with all this great stuff on it and a dumb remote.
Well, actually, no, because Apple TV will be hosted on Roku along with the Apple TV app as well. And so this is a hardware thing. But don't forget, they had 68% more streaming hours on Roku in the quarter than they did last year. It's a growth stock. You just have to find the right entry
Roku,
point.
and I love it. It's absolutely terrific.
By the way, we did have an analyst on the show yesterday who said that thing is going north of $250 a share. That was yesterday. Today is down 17%. Big seller. We'll get the analyst back. Why not? Let's see how she reasons. The big board says a gain of 152 points. That's for the Dow Industrials. We had a new record high for the Dow and a new record high for the S&P. All right, check back to McDonald's. It's been a rough week, but they're only marginally higher this morning, 90 cents higher. How about better profit, better sales at Ralph Lauren? Full disclosure, my daughter works for them, and they're doing very well, thank you very much. Up 11%. Nice gain.
Transparent.
Well, Shale Driller, Chesapeake Energy. That share, the stock is now below $1. Rough year for the energy sector. Okay, it's up 2 cents, 93 cents a share, Chesapeake Energy. PG&E, the California utility, took a $2.5 billion hit from those California wildfires, maybe a lot more to come. The stock is down 5% at $6.55. We've got the NASDAQ on the air for you because that's a new record high. So, in the first 5 minutes of business today, record high for the Dow, record for the S&P, record for the NASDAQ composite. And we roll on from there. What's we got next? All right, first First, McDonald's CEO fired. Now, Google executives being investigated over what are called inappropriate relationships. Look, I call this the death of the office romance. It's got nothing to do with the stock, which is actually up this morning, but make a cultural comment, Scott. What do you say?
Oh, really? Okay. You know, it's sad, I guess, because people, well, from the statistics, it shows, and it's becoming less and less so, but people used to meet in the offices. You know, that's where you'd meet a significant other and maybe get married to somebody, so that's kind of sad. In the case of Google, though, I'll tell you what's funny is the guy involved was like the chief legal counsel of the company. So if there's somebody there that should know this was taboo, it was him.
And I think that's a very good point, Scott. Look, the McDonald's CEO, Mr. Easterbrook, and these executives, they know the rules. It's 2019. This is not very smart behavior. It doesn't mean that it depends what the company rules are. If the rules say you can't do it, then you're breaking the rules. There are some companies that allow it if the employees, not CEO level, but employees go to HR and say we're having a relationship and be open about it. It may be permitted. Maybe one of them has to move on, whatever. Is it the death of the office romance? Not necessarily, but bottom line is play by the rules, otherwise you suffer the consequences.
Yeah, it depends on the reporting lines of the company. But I'm so loath to combine Google and McDonald's. They're not the same case. You know, in the Andy Rubin, the creator of Android case, he was accused of actual sexual assault. I mean, these other ones are consensual relationships. So I really don't think we should be putting them together in the same boat here.
Oh, welcome to this brave, brave new world of ours. Isn't it fun to live in and work in? Oh, my goodness
You can't do anything.
It's not the 1960s.
Is sarcasm allowed? Am I allowed to be sarcastic about this kind of thing?
It's your show.
Probably not. Yes, it is.
Maybe not this topic, though.
All right, I've got to move on before I get fired. Disney reporting after the bell today, and its streaming service, Disney Plus, debuts on Tuesday. The stock is up this morning.
Yeah, so in other words, Disney Plus will not be a part of this earnings report. Right. It will be the last earnings report before Disney Plus. The big pieces of Disney business that everyone will look at is media networks and then the parks and resorts. And both of those sectors have been waning in recent quarters. There's no doubt about it. We know that cable subscriptions are taking a big toll on the networks, and the domestic parks also taking a hit as well. But there'll be a lot of talk about Disney Plus, and maybe that can make up for some of the losses in the other areas. By the way, one analyst says that he believes that Disney Plus will have 10 million subscribers by the end of next year, and within the next 4 years, that number will go to 90 million.
90 million?
Yes.
Well, that's a big number.
It is a huge number.
I'd like to know, within the next year, how many households will have 3 streaming services that they are paying for?
I think that's the average. That's the expectation.
Yeah, that's the average. So how many we're going to have after 1 year from now?
Well, you have, 100 million subscribers in the U.S. on Netflix, so I would say probably 70%, 60, 70 million.
Yeah, and which ones?
Yeah, which ones? I mean, I think you can say that Disney's up there.
Yeah. Disney's there, probably Netflix, Stuart, and then that last one's a weird one, right? It's like the Hulu, Amazon, somewhere in there maybe is where the third one comes in, Yeah,
how about Apple and Amazon? They're all major players here. It's a revolution in entertainment. It is. What you do watching your screen is going to change.
Right. Well, also, I think the one that suffers is probably the traditional cable company. It's the unbundling, the cutting of the cord.
Welcome to the Fox Business Network.
Just get me a good remote, guys. I need a better remote. So if you find one or that one, I need it.
I'll buy you one, Scott. Don't worry about it. All right. Now, Scott, thank you very much indeed, sir. Good to see you. Check that big book.